Hare Krishna, dear friends and devotees. Today we continue with 6th chapter of the Nectar of Devotion, which is called How to Discharge Devotional Service. So basically what's going on in this chapter is that Srila Rupa Goswami is describing the 64 angas of bhakti, or different activities or actions that one should perform with his body, with his mind, or with his words as devotional service to the Lord. Devotional service means to engage our mind in thinking about Krishna, our words in describing Krishna, and our body in different activities serving Krishna. So these 64 ways of engaging our words, our mind, and our body in service of Krishna are described here in this chapter. And basically we'll just slowly go through this list, which is described here. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that here there is a description only of the principles, the 64 principles of bhakti, and details are not discussed here. Like Srila Prabhupada is giving example. A basic principle is that one has to accept a spiritual master on the devotional path. But now if, let's say, there is a difference between the instructions of one spiritual master and the other one, this is not discussed here. Just the basic principles are given. So, first, accepting shelter of the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master. 2. Becoming initiated by the spiritual master and learning how to discharge devotional service from him. 3. Obeying the orders of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. 4. Following in the footsteps of great acharyas, teachers, under the direction of the spiritual master. 5. Inquiring from the spiritual master how to advance in Krishna consciousness. 6. Being prepared to give up anything material for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. This means, Srila Prabhupada explains, that when we are engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, we must be prepared to give up something which we may not like to give up, and also we have to accept something which we may not like to accept. 7. Residing in a sacred place of pilgrimage like Dvaraka or Vrindavan. 8. Accepting only what is necessary, or dealing with the material world only as far as necessary. 9. Observing the fasting day on Ekadashi. And 10. Worshipping sacred trees like the banyan tree. Srila Prabhupada explains, these 10 items are preliminary necessities for beginning the discharge of devotional service in regulative principles. In the beginning, if a neophyte devotee observes the above mentioned 10 principles, surely he will quickly make good advancement in Krishna consciousness. So, Srila Prabhupada is saying, we can say these are preliminary necessities for beginning the discharge of devotional service. At the same time, these are important practices of bhakti, like following Ekadashi, or accepting a spiritual master, serving the spiritual master. All these are important parts of the process of bhakti. But Srila Prabhupada is saying preliminary necessities because if we don't start to practice these things in our life, we cannot practice the next given in the list of activities of bhakti. So the next set of instructions is listed as follows. Another 10 important instructions. First, one should rigidly give up the company of non-devotees. Second, one should not instruct a person who is not desirous of accepting devotional service. Third, one should not be very enthusiastic about constructing costly temples or monasteries. 4. One should not try to read too many books, nor should one develop the idea of earning his livelihood by lecturing on or professionally reciting Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. 5. One should not be neglectful in ordinary dealings. 6. One should not be under the spell of lamentation in loss or jubilation in gain. 7. One should not disrespect the demigods. 8. One should not give unnecessary trouble to any living entity. 9. One should carefully avoid the various offenses in chanting the holy name of the Lord or in worshipping the deity in the temple. 10. One should be very intolerant toward the blasphemy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, or his devotees. Then after describing these 10, Srila Prabhupada says, without following the above mentioned 10 principles, one cannot properly elevate himself to the platform of sadhana bhakti, or devotional service in practice. Altogether, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions 20 items, and all of them are very important. Out of the 20, the first 3, namely, accepting the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, taking initiation from him, and serving him with respect and reverence, are the most important. So, 20 very important items were described, but out of them 3 are the most important, and all 3 of them are connected with the spiritual master. Serving the spiritual master, accepting shelter of a spiritual master, and taking initiation from the spiritual master. So basically, without seriously dedicating ourselves to a great devotee of the Lord who is very dear to the Lord, we cannot start the process of devotional service. This is how important is the connection with bona fide spiritual master. And now there will be another 44 items of bhakti described. First, one should decorate the body with tilak, which is the sign of the Vaishnavas. Second, in marking such tilak, sometimes one may write Hare Krishna on the body. Third, one should accept flowers and garlands that have been offered to the deity and the spiritual master and put them on one's body. 4. One should learn to dance before the deity. 5. One should learn to bow down immediately upon seeing the deity or the spiritual master. 6. As soon as one visits a temple of Lord Krishna, one must stand up. 7. When the deity is being borne for a stroll in the street, a devotee should immediately follow the procession. 8. A devotee must visit a Vishnu temple at least once or twice every day, morning and evening. Srila Prabhupada elaborates, in Vrindavan this system is followed very strictly. All the devotees in town go every morning and evening to visit different temples. Therefore, during these times there are considerable crowds all over the city. There are about 5,000 temples in Vrindavan city. Of course, it is not possible to visit all the temples, but there are at least 1,000 very big and important temples which were started by the Goswamis and which should be visited. 9. One must circumambulate the temple building at least 3 times. In every temple, there is an arrangement to go around the temple at least 3 times. Some devotees go around more than 3 times, 10 times, 15 times, according to their vows. The Goswamis used to circumambulate Govardhana hill. One should also circumambulate the whole Vrindavan area. Srila Prabhupada is elaborating on this item, that one should circumambulate the deities. 10. One must worship the deity in the temple according to the regulative principles, offering arati, offering food, decorating the deity, and so on and so on. 11. One must render personal service to the deities. 12. One must sing. 13. One must perform Sankirtana. 14. One must chant. 15. One must offer prayers. 16. One must recite notable prayers. 17. One must taste Mahaprasada, food from the very plate offered before the deities. 18. One must drink Charnamrita, the water from the bathing of the deities. 19. One must smell the incense and flowers offered to the deity. 20. One must touch the lotus feet of the deity. 21. One must see the deity with great devotion. 22. One must offer arati at different times. 23. One must hear about the Lord and his pastimes from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and similar books. 24. One must pray to the deity for his mercy. 25. One should remember the deity. 26. One should meditate upon the deity. 27. One should render some voluntary service. 28. One should think of the Lord as one's friend. 29. One should offer everything to the Lord. 30. One should offer a favorable article such as food or a garment. 31. One should take all kinds of risk and perform all endeavors for Krishna's benefit. 32. In every condition one should be surrendered soul. 33. One should pour water on the Tulsi tree. 34. One should regularly hear Srimad Bhagavatam and similar lectures. 35. One should live in a sacred place like Mathura, Vrindavan or Dwaraka. 36. One should offer service to Vaishnavas devotees. 37. One should arrange one's devotional service according to one's means. 38. In the month of Kartik, one should make arrangements for special services. 39. During Janmashtami, the time of Krishna's appearance in this world, one should observe a special service. 40. One should do whatever is done with great care and devotion for the deity. 41. One should relish the pleasure of Bhagavatam reading among devotees and not among outsiders. 42. One should associate with devotees who are considered more advanced. 43. One should chant the holy name of the Lord. 44. One should live in the jurisdiction of Mathura. So now, these 3 groups of items were described. First 10, then another 10, and then 44. And altogether there are 64 items of bhakti, of devotional service. Out of these 64, there are 5 items which are very special. Later, for them it will be given special importance, and they will be described separately in the separate chapter. But now we can just say that these 5, they are considered the most potent items of devotional service, and very easily they can elevate us a lot in the spiritual life. So these 5 are worshipping the deity, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, associating among the devotees, Sankirtan, or chanting the holy name of the Lord, and living in Mathura, or in a holy place like Mathura, Vrindavan, Dwaraka. So later we are going to discuss more about them. Hare Krishna.